Guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's project, we're going to do a backsplash for my kitchen. So as you see right now, there's nothing. I'm having like a hair crack that I want to, for the longest time, fill in. But I figured if I actually did a backsplash, it would cover up. So I had to go choose between a few different ones. Looks like this one is gonna be the winner. It looks like a very classic mosaic style, which should work with the rest. Has to match with the floors and the rest that's pretty much white. So the first thing I'm gonna do is fill in this gap here with a bit of caulking, just in case water was to find its way through the grout. At least it will be stopped by the caulking. So I calculated the side that I need to do, which is the whole side plus the small side. It looks like I need about 13 pieces, and I'm gonna need also a wet saw, which I don't have, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to get my hands onto one. So maybe I can do it by hand, I don't know, we'll see. I can do a test. And so the height looks pretty good. I mean, it's not too tall. I need to cut that piece off, which is fine. And so that's it. So I have to go get it. These are very simple to use. You just need to lay out your nut grout, your adhesive underneath, put that over, let it sit for a couple of days, maybe one day only, and then do the grout. So I'll show you in my next video all the tools that we need to use, and then we'll start from there. Talk to you soon. We figured the type of tile we like, the color we like. I just laid it all down to see how many pieces I need and where to start from, whether right to left or left to right. It looks like I'm gonna be starting from the right to the left, so I can hide my last cut that's at the corner, and it'll be hiding by the other two pieces that I have alone. And just in case my cuts are not that great, but this is my first time doing one, so we'll see how it all ends up. Hopefully it ends up good. If not, you'll be putting comments, tell me how you feel. Thank you. Okay, here we are. Now we're going to apply the first piece that I already pre-cut. So I'm just putting in the goop. I bought the pre-mixed instead of the one you mix yourself. So I have only pre-cut one piece, as I'm not going to be able to get moving too quick on this project. So don't put it on the plugs. I should have put some tape, but I'm learning as I go. This is my first backsplash. sure is that we scrape it. Alright, here we go. So here we'll be using 1/8 of an inch spaces between the backsplash and the countertop, as well as using a grout floater just to press down the adhesive into each tile so it adheres, so it stays better. So I just want to apply it strongly so it bonds. And I've got that little piece that's gonna come right behind that I will have to just put the goop on the back of it because it's just way too tight of a space. Okay, I have to get this out. It's a very tight space. Have to put more goop somehow in there. We'll be needing to do a lot of cleanup after this, but as long as I get this piece in there, it's all that matters. Okay, that looks like it's good in there. All right, I'm gonna have to just clean that up and I will show you later. I am just adding painter's tape as I go just to keep the tire in place to avoid it from falling off the wall, which technically wouldn't because of the adhesive behind it, just to be on the safe side. So all the tires have been put in place, and after doing this whole work I realized the mistakes I made, and slowly as I was going I noticed the cuts, the mistakes I was making with the cuts, and I'll show you with the first plot. For example, one thing you don't think of is that the screw that actually attaches to the box has to be a longer one, but normally has to hold in place to something. So my cut should have been down below, so this could rest on the tile. First mistake. So I was able to find something at Lowe's which would help me give it some support so it has something to hold on to. So for the bottom one I was able to make a smaller cut, which is helping in resting the plug onto. So once I do on my grouting, it will be not showing these cuts, plus it will be covered by the cover. And same thing here, as you can see I cut these too short. It should have been another ½ inch. So I was able to find a cover that's even wider. I haven't bought it, but it will definitely cover entirely. But I noticed that I could move this all the way to the side and bam, it's not showing. So that's actually a good thing. It's not so bad. However, as you move on to the next plug,
Same thing, the mistake was not as bad. One is resting perfectly or just enough. The other one almost, but I still have spacers behind. This one, same thing. Down here, not so bad. So my angle is going up as opposed to, see, it's going up that way. It should have been straight across. So I miscalculated. So always measure twice, cut once. And as for the last one, couldn't be any better than that. So always leave it longer than too short. If you cut it too short, you can't go back. Where here you can use a Dremel and actually cut over once it's set in place. If, for example, you had no space for your screws here, let's say you cut it too low, and your screws, if you notice, the screws in here are actually above the line. So I was able to remove that from the wall before I set it, and I was able to make like a little curve, a little cut for the screws. So I had to mark it and then go back out and cut it. So somehow this is not bad, but if that was not the case, I could always use a little Dremel and just cut into here, as this is gonna be covered. But you see now there's plenty of tile for my plug to rest on. So now it's not gonna be sinking, and I don't even need any spacers behind. I just had to switch my screws for longer ones. I think these screws are 832 or 632, I'm not quite sure, but Lowe's would be able to help you out with this. So this is a finished product before I do the grouting. So I just put 2 coats of protection for the tiles before I do my grouting. One mistake I made is when I went to Home Depot to buy these finishes, I asked the guy to see which one I needed. I wanted a matte one, but the mistake he made is he used the actual tile that comes with a cardboard box, and he measured for that with the cardboard box, which is way too thick. So this is a 1/2 inch, but a 3/4 would have a 1/8 or 3/8 would have been plenty. So as you can see right now, always hard actually to show on video. There's a little extra. It's hard to tell, but basically this is much too wide. Here we go. Now I can probably show you. This is a little too wide. So my cuts were 45-degree angles. It's not the perfect work, but once I put the grouting, this will be covered up a little bit. Or I could put some JB welding paste that I can put in the corner and then file it down. It's a little darker color that they make. They make a gray one, a white one, and I forget what other color, but anyway, the gray one would work fine. I've worked with one before and it does the work fine. It's just slightly darker than this one. So here we go. So I still have to wait for that part to dry. It's not been 24 hours yet, so I'll wait for tonight to do the grouting. And they tell you the mortar has to stay on for at least 24 hours. So this is my first ever tiling done on a kitchen sink, backsplash sink. So I'm pretty happy with it. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. I think it's not so bad for my first time. Here we go. So I will do the grouting tonight and we'll make another video tomorrow. Thank you. And now doing the grouting using a grout floater at a 45-degree angle to make sure every crack gets enough of the grouting. As a reminder, we don't want to put any grout between the tile and the countertop. We'll be later on put caulking. As I was done with the grouting, I ended up using a big sponge and clean water and removed the excess grout off of the tile to make sure there's no haze to it. You have to do this very lightly to be sure you don't remove the grout from the actual cracks. After waiting for the grout to be cured, which was about 2 days, I ended up using 2 coats of sealant for the grout. I'm done with this project. So there's a few things I learned along the way. So one of the few things I learned is, the first one is when you get to go to Home Depot and decide to get one of these finishes, I didn't think of it myself. When I bought the tires, they come with a cardboard on the back of it, and the guy that I mentioned the style I was looking for, and he gave me that was much too thick. So as you can see, there's a bit of like a quarter of an inch thicker than what I would have needed. It's not a big deal. It doesn't show so much, so that's not too bad. But if you want it to be flush with your tile, you've got to take out the cardboard off of the tile directly, so you know how deep you want that piece to be, the finishing piece. And then the second thing I learned is that when you're doing the cuts, you want to make sure that the cuts actually do go above this screw and also down below this screw. But you want to make sure you make a cut into the tile in here for this screw and also for the one inside. So if you're doing the one inside and that one, do that one as well, because I had to recut over as it was already installed, so it was a bit too late. But for this, this was the first cut that I did. It wasn't as good as this one. Was okay, and this one was actually perfect. So I had a great cut for this one. And the second thing I learned is that as much as I want this to be leveled, it's all level, but I realized I have one window that's level with this, it's perfect, and the second one is definitely not leveled. It's got at least a good quarter inch higher, but that's not my job, so there's nothing I could do. It doesn't show so much. I know it's there, so I'm hating it, but I will get over it. So that's one of the things. So the grouting I used is the white one from Lowe's, and you just have to mix it up with water according to the manufacturer's way of doing it. And so it's fairly easy. It has to be very pasty. You have to make sure you put it all over with the correct tools and let it dry 24 hours and seal it. I just finished sealing it, and then I put a bead of caulking down here just to seal it too, but not using the grout. It's regular silicone. So I hope you enjoyed this work. I hope you can do yours. It's a very easy project. It just takes time, and you have to go step by step at your own pace. And well, good luck with your project. I hope you enjoyed mine. If you want to see more projects that I always do in the house, feel free to like the button and hit the bell for further projects. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.